Hey there, I'm Rocco from the Staat. You're watching Buddie. I think it's a little bit of both, actually, because I think we have we have what you could call a conceptual approach to our band, and Torre, the singer, he always keeps in mind like the bigger picture, as he is also really a producer at heart. He always keeps in mind the bigger picture and always feels. So it's both feeling and it's both heart and mind, if you will. See where he always feels or sees where we could go. So in the first record, he made this record all by himself. Then we started to play, because these songs were basically impossible to play live with 6 guitar parts and beautiful choirs. So we started to play them live. So the songs started to change, and because we played a lot after the release of the first record, people started calling us like a machine, a well-oiled machine. So we thought, hey, how can we grasp this concept in terms of progressing the band into another dimension, another level of. So the next album was called Machinery, and it really accentuates the machine part that we are as a band. So there's a lot of guitar parts that are divided, but so there's 3 guitars, but they sound as one. And then in the third album, we wanted to. Hey, sound guy, Renier Rietveld, legend. Torre found this image with a lot of different parts that seem to be where you can see what you want, basically, in the image. And so we started to work on that from that starting point, and try to translate that image into music. And it turned out to be the record was really full, maybe too full with things, with drumming. There was a lot of emphasis on drums and on percussion and a lot of layering, so much different sounds in one song. And both these albums we recorded like in the old-fashioned sense of the word. So we rehearsed a lot in our rehearsal room, and then we took it to the studio where we recorded it in 2 weeks. So there's the so in those 2 weeks all the work had to be done. So what we did there, basically, you couldn't change it anymore after it was done. Then we had it mixed by Vance Powell from he also did a lot of work for Third Man Records with Jack White in Nashville, and he mixed it together with Torre in Nashville, and the record turned out to be it was really full and it was a really busy record. Then the fourth album, we got the chance to create our own studio back in an old school building, which was a venue after that, where we were. It's like the legendary venue in our hometown Nijmegen, and they moved, so the place was available for us to make our own studio, and that's basically the fourth album. We thought, okay, we did this really busy album with a lot of shit in it. How can we basically do the same thing but with less noise? So that's the fourth album basically. So there was always like a conceptual starting point, like, and now the fourth album and the fifth album, it was like, okay, we did this, we established this sound in the Blue album, the O album, and how can we take it, how can we dive. Look who we have there. Ik ben over je werk aan het praten, man. Oh, cool. So we had that sound, and it the album was received really well, and it was really a different reception from the Icon album. And then and then we got the guys from Muse asked us, and we felt that, okay, we're on a right path or something. People understand what we're doing, or just appreciate what we're doing. And then the fifth album, Bubblegum, is basically like a depthening of the O album, in my mind at least. So we went a lot more crazy with sounds, and not particularly with more stuff, but with the same stuff, and try to make it sound different. So the bass guitar can be a synthesizer, and the guitar can be a synthesizer, and the synthesizer can be a guitar, and like the famous Ringo Starr quote, like, if the piano sounds like a guitar, why don't you use the guitar, because it sounds like a piano. That's basically the fifth album, the Bubblegum album. And then when the songs start to exist, when they start to fall in place, then we find, hey, there's some sort of theme we are working around here. And I think Toro was really thinking about bubbles, thinking about the modern world, and how everything seems to be, hey, veteran, guitar player extraordinaire. So yeah, the bubblegum concept came progressively in. So actually, so to come back to your question, it was a long history lesson. This. There's always a little bit of concept and a little bit of an organic progression, and they sort of fall together. And because we have our own studio, and we created like this way of working which really works well for us, in ways of trying to let the mind and the heart come together while we play. So we rehearse, and then we record the rehearsal. We start with a demo. We rehearse the demo. We record the rehearsal. Toro mixes the rehearsal. We go from that. We record even. We perfect the song. So there's always a little bit of concept and a little bit of organic growth. Well, I think the main structure and the skeleton of the song, so like the melodies and the groove, they always come up from the mind of the singer Tore, and then we start wrestling with his idea. And I think with Kitty Kitty is kind of a funny story, because first it was a really different song. It was more a staccato, like a robot-y song, but like a really stiff robot. And then we started playing around, messing around with it in the studio. We couldn't get it right. We were struggling. I think a couple of days went by, and there are recordings of us jamming 45 minutes to this main idea, to trying to find how can we do it? And then suddenly the bass player Job, he played the bass line, because the bass line was like ta 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 ta. It was just straightforward. And then he played it together with his whammy pedal. That's like a pitch shifter. And then it went, and then we were like, stop, stop everything. This is it. This is what we got to build the song around. So we threw everything away, took the bass part as the beginning, and we built the song from there. So we already had the melody for the synth, like the beginning, what you were talking about. That was the melody that was already in the old demo, but then I played it on the Uno, and it was getting grand, you know. It was getting really this epic sound. And then I think in the recording you hear Veteran's guitar playing this melody, and these are all parts that are coming back in the song, I think, in the big epic ending. So the song, yeah, this is a good example of the way we work, I guess. Like because we have the possibility of listening back what we're doing and really try to be conscious about what we're doing at the moment. That we can change things and adapt really fast, and then bam, we have idea. Okay, we build around that. And then it was kitty kitty, and we finished it really quick after that. It was because we were struggling, and then bam, the tipping point, and we were sliding downhill. Yes, yeah, it was really nice, and we all, the five of us, instantly when we heard Job playing the bass line, we go stop. It was really that was this. I didn't exaggerate. We all knew, okay, bam, we got something, and. We started playing the song, I think, in 2017. So we thought, let's start doing it live right away. And the reaction from the crowd, because it's a song, you play a song that people never heard, and we felt that they understood the song, because if you analyze it, it's a pretty weird song. There's not really a chorus. There are verses, but yeah, there's a weird dynamic, weird build up, and a drop, and another build up. So it's a pretty weird song, but it felt really good, because yeah, it's a really good song, and we got also people. We hear a lot of other musicians saying to us, "Wow, man, that's a song I really would have loved to have written." Well, that's like for us real artists, you know. Cool is nice if they like it, but now then you know, right, we did something interesting there, so something we didn't do before, you know. That was really nice, yeah. So yes, proud is maybe not the right word, but just how. Because yeah, actually, funny that you say that, because I think because the Kitty Kitty, you know, the way we recorded it, the way we played it live, and the way the people reacted to it, we thought, hey, shit, this is like a direction we can go into now. So like a more, yeah, if you want to call it dance, maybe a more dancey approach to our music, you know. So how can we keep the same elements but try to fit them in another jacket and see if it fits, you know? So that's funny you say that, because yeah, that's really how it went. And all the other songs are really, the Kitty Kitty is really also the starting point from the writing side of things. It took another year to really, you know, take the right route on the direction we were seeing. But yeah, I think, thank you, first of all, by the way. It's lovely to hear that we're not rehashing, or we are. You said something nice, thank you. No, I think we always try to incorporate ideas from stuff which at first glance, you know, like the pop culture stuff, the radio hit stuff. We're not, you know, we're older guys. We all have our own musical DNA, if you will. But it's fun to take something that you don't like the slap bass or something. There's always joke about that. But how, as an example, how can we try to make a song with the slap bass that is in a way that it's cool, you know? So we try and use those popular culture things more as a tool than as a means than as a goal, you know. And it fit really well also in the theme of the song, like "Fake It Till You Make It," which also can be fit in the bubble theme of it all. And we also did some other songs where we explored those themes, like "Get On Screen" from the O album, which is about you know, media culture and the screen as the new reality or something. But it's nice to try and grasp something that is not particularly cool, let's just call it cool, and try and make it our own, and try to make it cool because we do it, you know. Yeah, so it's something like that, I think. It was also this demo that Torre had, and it was basically just the beats. It was like tan 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 tan. So it was basically that, and then we started to build. And so okay, this has to be like a techno song, like a really simple but groovy, thing. And I think that the words, in that sense, the theme that came, Torre was just like doing Sims talk, you know, just mouthing some, and 1, 2 Pikachu. It was the first thing it came to mind, and then suddenly we thought we could not let it go because it was too perfect. And it also has a cool reference to the motto "Ein, zwei, Polizei," and those older 90s, end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s, simple house tracks, you know. And then we started messing around with, okay, what is Pikachu except for a fucking Pokemon, you know? Because, and Freek Ros, our lighting engineer, brilliant. And so it was, and it's basically a very simple song, which just goes on and on. And because it was so simple, we also tried to do, okay, how can we do it live, you know, and not make it, so we had to do this choreography. There was no other way, you know, because it had to be something static, something creepy, something which makes the song even, yeah, I don't know if it, yeah, which gives the song this yeah, which makes it more creepy, basically. That's it. Of course, I'm only watching. I'm watching Torre deep in his eyes when we're doing it. But yeah, every time there's a reaction, man, and that's and it's awkward to do at first, you know. And we had to rehearse it. That was a really awkward part while we were in the rehearsal room. but we also had some history with little dances, with like the Get Together video, and the vintage version of Input Source Select, where we did this Beastie Boys kind of tribute thing. So we it's also nice that we can reference ourselves in a way. And I think that, yeah, there's a lot of things coming together in this song, like the Torre and I singing together, and the way we do it live with some extreme panning, and the way it's like a dance song, but it's just guitars playing the dance song, which it's kind of a mindfuck, and that's I think that's what the crowd is reacting to, you know, and that's an amazing feeling. They're very different, and this year it's really where the difference, where at least myself, I started to notice that the difference between the Dutch shows we're doing and the abroad shows, the shows we do abroad, it's really getting a lot bigger. But we have always done bigger things in Holland, and then next week we went to Germany or wherever, and we played terrible shows. We played good shows, but there were only 5 people to witness it. And I remember one in Stuttgart, but we also did in München, where the first time we were there were only 30 people. Then the next time it was 80 people, and when we were there in February, it was a sold out show. So that's the way and then that's a progression over, I don't know, let's say 5 or 4 years or so. But big shows and small shows are a different game in themselves, you know. The shows we're doing now, the past couple of weeks, and this one also here in Dublin, I experience that it's way more intense when the crowd is really close, and you know, everywhere we go, people are so happy to see us, you know. And I'm really grateful that we are there, just that we're there. And that we play our music for them. So, and you kind of feel that when you're on stage. I don't want to call it like the expectation or something, because we own the only crowd we want to please is ourselves, basically. But the way, it's just a more intense experience, and the people tend to. We get comments like, "Oh, it's so nice to see you up close like this," and you deserve bigger crowds, or you play the crowd that you deserve. I think, and we are a patient band. We have time to build, I guess, but and maybe this is that's true, and we're always cautious about taking too big of a step, you know, because if half of the crowd is just there to have a night out or something, then you lose control of that part of the evening, you know. No, it's really it's way more intense. Next week we're doing some a Dutch club tour, and it's like we sold it out completely, which is pretty crazy, but pretty satisfying as well. And these are all crowds like 1,000 and up, basically. And in a way, I'm looking forward to those shows because they are way more relaxed in a way. This is really weird when I say it out loud. it's even weirder than when I said it in my head, but just with bigger crowds, there's so many more elements which you can disappear in. Like the lighting is bigger, the sound is bigger, the stage is big. There's a lot more to look at, and you can sometimes you can stay in the shadows. You can there's a whole different thing, and the crowd is such a it's a different beast, you know, and that's why to see the faces and the gratitude and the happiness and the ecstatic arm hair shaking things from the people, from the small crowds, you know, it's not relaxed. It's very intense. It's a very intense feeling. But as I said, we've always been doing the bigger and the small, and we come from the small. We come from humble beginnings. So we can do both, and it's both different, but it's both the same. Man, you know, on to the next one. Whew. I probably have. Let me think. I think it's important. Yeah. Ooh. I'm going cliche territory now. But I really mean it. Man. You gotta believe in yourself, and you gotta. I wanted to say you have to like what you do, but that's not really true. Sometimes, you know, you hate your art, your music, and you struggle with it, you fight with it, you know. But it's really important to believe in yourself and try to have more of a long term, to develop a long term vision, and try to, you know, we also had periods where we were struggling to pay the bills and you know, but the only certain thing in our lives was the band, because the band always kept rolling, you know, and then it's hard to organize your life around the band. But yeah, we've been doing this for 12 years now, so after some time we felt like, hey, damn, okay, people are, you know, we built that audience, we did those things, we developed ourselves, we grew as a group, as individuals, as a production wise. So it's really important to believe in yourself and try to make something that is your own. So like in the Renaissance, they told artists, like, you gotta imitate, then you can and then after you mastered the imitation, you can emulate, you know, you can try and make something that is from that imitation, but is your own take on the old masters or whatever. So it's important to find your own voice and find a way of working that suits you, and you don't have to. You can really make your own choices, and sometimes it doesn't get easier when you do that. But I think that's the most rewarding way of being an artist, or whatever you want to call it, or just in a band, you know. But we're artists. Now, that's a funny thing, because a lot of people know us from Witch Doctor, you know, the video. We didn't know what was happening because it's truly a viral video, you know, and everywhere we go, people know this song. But this is the song. It's the most extreme song we did still up to this day. You know, it's basically a band playing gabber music. And there's nothing commercial or appealing to it. It's just an ugly one-note song, you know. And we were really happy with that, with the result, and with the video and stuff. 1 and 1 became 3. And for most people, I remember the question. For most people, this is the starting point. But we have a lot. We have little pop songs. We have beautiful, girly melodies and dreamy, whatever. Well, yeah. Let's say Witch Doctor is the best starting point, because after that you can get amazed with the variety of tastes we've presented to the world through our albums. Yeah, well, on tour you have a very short term vision. So Dublin, playing the Academy here is the next thing, and tomorrow, or we're going to London after that, which is also a bigger, the biggest London show, or the biggest UK show we did, which is always a good thing, you know. After that, the Dutch tour. We're going to Spain. We're going to France, and we're gonna make new music in the next year, hopefully very soon, and see how that works out. There's no. We're working on some cool big show ideas, but nothing really set in stone. Yes. So yeah, but first, first I'm gonna count the merchandise, because. So what's up next? Counting the merchandise. God damn it. Hello, people of Ireland. We love you. We're happy to be here. We hope to see you tonight. I'm gonna rock your socks off. Lots of love. Kisses, Rocco.